The glove box popped open on a bump, and I knew, right then, in that split second before anything fell out, that my world was about to shatter. Let me back up. My name is Diana Matthews, I'm 51, and for the past 2 years, I've watched my daughter Emma stumble through one toxic relationship after another. The kind where you bite your tongue at family dinners, hold back tears when she shows up with red eyes, and pray she'll finally see what everyone else does. So when she introduced me to Marcus, polite, steady Marcus with his warm smile and his yes ma'am manners, I felt relief flood through me like I could finally breathe again. Marcus was different. He remembered birthdays, showed up early, helped with groceries without being asked. When Emma got the flu, he brought soup and sat with her for hours. My friends at church called him a keeper. Even my skeptical sister Linda said, "Dee, you got lucky this time." I thought we'd finally turned a corner. I thought Emma had found someone who would treat her right. I was so wrong. It happened on a Tuesday night. Emma had asked me to borrow Marcus's car to pick up a prescription. Hers was in the shop, and he'd offered without hesitation. "Keys are in the ignition, Mrs. M," he'd said with that easy grin. "Drive safe." I was 3 blocks from the pharmacy when I hit a pothole. The glove compartment door swung open, and before I could reach over to close it, things started tumbling out. A prepaid cell phone, a small black notebook, a zippered pouch, and then, my breath caught, a key on a purple keychain with Emma's initials. Emma didn't have a purple keychain. I'd given her a silver one for her birthday. I pulled over into a parking lot, hands shaking. The rational part of my brain said, "There's an explanation. Don't jump to conclusions." But my gut, the same gut that had warned me about Emma's last boyfriend, the one who'd stolen her credit card, was screaming. I picked up the notebook first. Inside, in neat handwriting, were dates. Lots of dates. And next to each one, notes. March 12th, coffee shop. Pretended to drop wallet. She picked it up. Initial contact successful. March 15th. Accidentally showed up at her yoga class. Suggested smoothie place after. March 22nd, first date. She ordered the salmon. Make note for future. Seafood equals safe choice with her. My stomach turned. These weren't memories. These were calculations. I flipped forward. Page after page of observations about Emma. Her favorite music. Her insecurities. Her schedule. How she responded to compliments. What made her laugh. What made her cry. Then I found the section titled Phase 2 Building Trust. April 10th, manufactured car trouble. Gave her ride home. She was grateful. Vulnerability equals bonding. April 18th, brought her mother flowers. Key to long game. Mother's approval essential. Mother's approval. Me. He'd been playing me too. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the notebook. I grabbed the purple keychain next. Attached to the key was a small tag. Spare for emergencies. Emma had never given Marcus a spare key. I would have known. Which meant he'd made one. Without her knowing. The prepaid phone felt heavy in my palm. I pressed the power button, my heart hammering. No password. The screen lit up with a calendar. Today's date had a note. Dinner with D. Final approval secured. Diana. Me. I scrolled back through the calendar. Entries going back months. Win over mother. Plant seeds about moving in together. Introduce marriage casually, gauge reaction. And then 2 weeks from today. Proposal night. After this, full access. Full access. To what? I opened the zippered pouch with trembling fingers. Inside were printed documents. Bank statements. Emma's bank statements, ones she'd never shown him. Photocopies of her driver's license. Her social security card. A printout from a credit monitoring site with her score circled in red. And underneath it all, a piece of paper with handwriting I didn't recognize. Once she signs the lease, transfer the accounts. She won't notice until it's too late. Meet you at the usual spot to split it, 40-60 as agreed. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just manipulation. This was identity theft. Fraud. And someone else, someone identified only as V, was in on it. I sat in that car for 20 minutes, just staring at the evidence spread across the passenger seat. Everything Marcus had done, every kindness, every thoughtful gesture. It was all a con. He was going to propose to Emma, get her to co-sign something or merge accounts, and then vanish with her money, her credit, her entire financial life. And I had welcomed him into our home. I had vouched for him. I had pushed Emma toward him when she'd hesitated early on, saying, "Honey, give him a chance. He's one of the good ones." The prescription. I'd completely forgotten. I shoved everything back into the glove box, my mind racing. I couldn't tell Emma. Not yet. If I went to her with this, she'd defend him. She'd accuse me of sabotaging her happiness like I had with the others. Marcus had been too careful, too perfect. He'd positioned himself as the victim of my overprotective paranoia. I needed proof she couldn't deny. I needed to catch him in the act. I drove home, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. Marcus was in my living room when I walked in, laughing at something Emma had said. They looked so happy, so normal. "Got the prescription, Mrs. M?" he asked, standing up with that respectful nod he always did. I forced a smile. "Pharmacy was closed. I'll try again tomorrow." "Want me to go?" "I don't mind." "No," I said too quickly. "No, it's fine. I'll handle it." He studied me for a second, just a flicker of something in his eyes, then smiled again. "Whatever you need. I'm here to help." That's when I realized. He was studying me the same way he'd studied Emma, watching for reactions, taking notes. I excused myself and locked my bedroom door. My hands were still shaking as I pulled out my phone and took pictures of everything I'd found. Then I called the one person I knew would believe me without question. "Linda," I whispered when my sister answered. "I need your help. And I need you not to ask questions until I explain everything." There was a pause. Then, "What did he do?" "He's not who we think he is. And I have to prove it before he destroys Emma." Over the next hour, I told Linda everything. She listened in silence, and when I finished she said, "We need to move fast. If he suspects he'll accelerate the timeline or vanish." "What do I do?" "You play along. Make him think you're completely fooled. And we find out who V is before he gets Emma's signature on anything." The next morning, Marcus showed up with coffee and pastries. "Thought you might need a pick-me-up, Mrs. M. Emma mentioned you've been stressed." I smiled, sipped the coffee, and felt like I was swallowing poison. "You're too kind, Marcus." "Anything for my future family," he said, and the way he said future made my skin crawl. Emma came downstairs radiant. "Mom, Marcus and I were talking. He thinks we should look at apartments together. Isn't that exciting?" I kept my face neutral. "That's a big step." "I know. But I think I'm ready." She looked at Marcus, and the adoration in her eyes broke my heart. "He makes me feel safe." Safe. The word echoed in my head as Marcus kissed her forehead. That afternoon, while Emma was at work, I called a private investigator Linda had recommended. I need deep background on someone. And I need it fast. Name: Marcus. I realized I didn't know his last name. How had I not asked? "I'll text you his number and a photo." "Give me 48 hours. I didn't have 48 hours. The proposal was in 12 days. That night, I made an excuse to borrow Marcus's car again. This time, I photographed everything in the glove box and returned it exactly as I'd found it. Then I checked the trunk. Inside, under a blanket, was a duffel bag. I unzipped it. Fake IDs. 5 of them, all with Marcus's photo but different names. Credit cards that didn't match any of those names. A burner laptop. And a folder, thick stuffed with papers. I pulled it out. Inside were profiles. Printed profiles of women. 8 of them. Photos, names, addresses, employment information, income estimates. And handwritten notes rating them. Low security awareness. High credit limit. Trusts easily. Emma was the 3rd profile in the stack. Next to her photo, in red ink. Primary target, mother's approval secured. Timeline 2 weeks. At the bottom of the folder was a letterhead. V. Chen Financial Consulting. V. Chen. I had a name. I took pictures of everything. Hands shaking so hard I had to brace the phone against my knee. Then I put it all back, zipped the bag and drove home. When I walked in, Marcus was cooking dinner. Thought I'd surprise you both. Hope you like stir fry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call the police right then. But I smiled and said, "That's so thoughtful." Emma hugged him from behind. "See, Mom? I told you he was perfect." Perfect. That word again. That night, I sent everything to the PI with a message. I need to know who Chen is. And I need every detail on Marcus's real identity. Whatever it costs. The reply came an hour later. Working on it. In the meantime, keep him close. Don't let him know you're investigating. Keep him close. The man who was planning to rob my daughter blind. The man who had a duffel bag full of fake identities and profiles of other women he'd targeted. I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. Emma was in the next room, probably texting Marcus good night. She had no idea the man she loved was a predator. And I had 11 days to stop him before he destroyed her life. The PI called back at 2 in the morning. I'd been lying awake, staring at my phone, willing it to ring. "Mrs. Matthews, you need to sit down for this." I was already sitting, but my entire body tensed. "Tell me." Marcus isn't his real name. It's Derek Vaughn. He's 34, not 29 like he told your daughter. He's got a record, identity theft, fraud, and get this. He served 18 months 3 years ago for running a romance scam in Nevada. Targeted women in their 20s and 30s, gained their trust, drained their accounts, disappeared. He had a partner. That's your Chen. Victoria Chen. She's the tech person, sets up the fake documents, creates the digital trails, helps him launder the money. My mouth went dry. How many women? That we know of. 11. And those are just the ones who reported it. Most victims are too embarrassed to come forward. The amounts stolen range from $15,000 to $120,000. $120,000. Emma's savings from her grandmother's inheritance was $60,000. Plus her credit cards, her access to my accounts since I'd added her as an authorized user years ago. If he got her to co-sign anything, he could destroy both of us financially. Where is he now? I mean, how is he still walking free? He got out on parole early for good behavior. Changed his appearance, dyed his hair, grew a beard, lost weight. And he moved states. Your daughter isn't his first target since release. There's a woman in Oregon who filed a report 6 months ago. Same MO. He courted her, moved in, convinced her to put him on her lease, then cleaned out her accounts and vanished overnight. Did they catch him? No. He's smart. Always stays one step ahead. That's why this Victoria Chen is so valuable to him. She makes him digitally invisible. New identities, clean backgrounds, fake references. By the time anyone realizes what happened, he's already someone else. I felt sick. What do? You document everything. Keep copies of what you found. Don't confront him directly. Men like this can get dangerous when cornered. And whatever you do, don't let your daughter sign anything with his name on it. Not a lease, not a bank account, nothing. After I hung up, I sat in the dark. Derek's, not Marcus's, face burned into my memory. I'd invited a convicted felon into my home. I'd encouraged my daughter to date him. I'd called him perfect. The next morning, Emma came downstairs with her laptop, glowing. "Mom, look at this apartment Marcus found. 2 bedrooms, hardwood floors, and it's only 10 minutes from my work. We have an appointment to see it this afternoon." My coffee turned to acid in my stomach. That's fast. Are you sure you want to rush into living together? Her smile dimmed. We've been together for 7 months. That's not rushing. 7 months. All of it planned. Calculated. I wanted to grab her shoulders and shake her, scream the truth, show her the photos, the fake IDs, everything. But the PI was right. Derek was smart. If I came at this the wrong way, Emma would choose him over me. I'd seen it happen with her last boyfriend. She'd stopped speaking to me for 2 months when I'd voiced concerns. "I just mean financially," I said carefully. "Moving is expensive. First month, last month, security deposit. That's a lot at once. Marcus is covering most of it. He says he wants to take care of me." She looked at me defiant. "Isn't that what you always wanted? Someone who'd take care of me. Take care of her. Like a predator takes care of prey." "Of course," I forced out. I just want you to be smart about it. I am being smart. For once in my life, I'm choosing someone good. Someone who doesn't lie, who doesn't cheat, who actually shows up when he says he will. Marcus is nothing like the others, and I wish you'd see that. I saw it. I saw exactly what he was. After she left, I called Linda. He's a career criminal. Convicted fraud. The PI found 11 victims. Oh my God, Diana. And Emma wants to move in with him. They're looking at apartments today. You have to tell her. If I do, she'll think I'm making it up. He's positioned himself perfectly. I'm the overbearing mother. He's the prince. She'll choose him. Then we make her see it herself. We find the other victims. We get their stories. Emma can't deny 11 women saying the same thing. That could take weeks. The apartment viewing is today. If she signs a lease, then you stop her from signing. Delay. Say you need time to think. Say you want to meet his family first. Buy yourself time to build a case she can't ignore. I went to that apartment viewing. I wasn't invited, but I showed up anyway, claiming I was in the neighborhood. Derek's face when he saw me was smooth, unreadable, but for just a second, less than a heartbeat, I saw the flash of irritation. Mrs. M. What a surprise. That easy smile. Those lying eyes. I hope you don't mind. I wanted to see where my baby girl will be living. Emma shot me a look that said, please don't embarrass me. But Derek just laughed. Of course not. The more the merrier. The apartment was perfect. Of course it was. He'd chosen it specifically, nice enough to impress Emma, but not so expensive that she'd question how he could afford half the rent on his supposed salary as a freelance consultant. I watched him the entire tour, pointing out the closet space, the natural light, the updated kitchen. Every word, every gesture designed to seal the deal. When the landlord handed Emma the application, my heart stopped. We'll need both your names, employment verification, and first month plus deposit today if you want to hold it. I've got 3 other couples interested. Of course he did. Pressure tactic. Classic. Derek probably coached him. Emma pulled out her checkbook. I can write the check now. Actually, I cut in, my voice sharper than I intended. Emma, didn't you say you needed to check your savings account balance first? After that car repair last week. She frowned. Mom, I've got it covered. But remember, you wanted to keep a cushion. For emergencies. I turned to the landlord, smiling apologetically. Would it be possible to hold the application until tomorrow? Just to make sure everything's in order financially. Derek's hand landed on Emma's shoulder. Mrs. M's right. We should be smart about this. Let's sleep on it. If it's meant to be, it'll still be here tomorrow. He was good. So good. Turning my interference into reasonableness. Making himself look thoughtful. But I saw the calculation in his eyes. He was adjusting. Planning his next move. Emma deflated slightly but nodded. Okay, tomorrow then. As we left, Derek pulled me aside while Emma walked to her car. Mrs. M, I appreciate you looking out for Emma. I really do. But I've got this. I know you're worried, but I promise, I'm going to take care of her. She's everything to me. Up close, I could see the fine lines around his eyes he'd hidden with makeup. The 2 white teeth that were definitely veneers. The cologne that probably cost $300 a bottle to maintain his image. Everything about him was a lie. I know you will, I said, matching his smile. I'm just being a mom. I get it. My mom's the same way. Protective. It comes from love. He didn't have a mother. According to the PI, both his parents died in a car accident when he was 12. He'd grown up in foster care, which probably explained a lot about how he'd learned to charm and manipulate. But I didn't say that. I just nodded. That night, Linda came over with a laptop and a mission. We're finding those other victims. Starting with the woman in Oregon. It took 4 hours and several dead ends, but we found her. Jessica Thornton, 27, Portland. She'd posted about her experience on a scam awareness forum under a pseudonym, but Linda tracked her real name through cross-referencing. I sent her a message, careful, non-threatening. My daughter is dating someone I believe scammed you 6 months ago. Would you be willing to talk? The response came 20 minutes later. What's his name? He's calling himself Marcus Webb. Oh my God. That's him. That's him. He called himself Mark Webster with me. Send me your number. Jessica called immediately. Her voice was shaking. Is your daughter okay? Has he hurt her? Not yet. But they're about to sign a lease together. Don't let her. Please don't let her. He'll drain everything. I lost $73,000. My savings, my credit cards, a loan he convinced me to take out. He said it was for our future. He said we were going to start a business together. Instead, he transferred it all to an offshore account and disappeared. Did you see a woman? Victoria Chen? Asian mid-30s, sharp dresser? Yes. She came to our apartment once. Mark said she was his financial advisor, helping us set up our accounts properly for tax purposes. She's the one who actually accessed my accounts. He just kept me distracted, talking about wedding plans while she worked. Wedding plans. I felt my chest tighten. Did he propose? The night before he vanished. I thought it was the happiest day of my life. Her voice cracked. The ring was fake. Cubic zirconia. I found the receipt later in the trash. He spent $40 on it. $40 for something he made me believe was forever. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Just stop him. Stop him before he does to your daughter what he did to me. I thought about killing myself after. I had to move back in with my parents. I'm 30 years old, and I'm starting over from nothing because I trusted the wrong person. After I hung up, Linda and I sat in silence. Then she said, "We need more. Emma won't believe one woman. She'll think it's a coincidence, a case of mistaken identity." The PI said 11 victims. Then we find them. All of them. And we make him confess. Over the next 3 days, we found 4 more. Sarah in Nevada. Michelle in California. Amber in Arizona. Each with the same story. Charming boyfriend, too good to be true, rushed commitment, sudden financial entanglement, devastating loss. The amounts stolen ranged from $20,000 to $100,000. Some had filed police reports. Some hadn't, too ashamed. All of them were still paying off the debt, still rebuilding their credit, still learning to trust again. And Emma had no idea she was next. On day 4, Derek made his move. Emma called me crying. "Mom, Marcus proposed." My blood turned to ice. What? Last night at dinner. He got down on one knee and everything. Look. She video called me, shoving her hand at the camera. A ring. Small diamond, but sparkly. Probably real this time. He'd learned from his mistakes. "That's wonderful, honey," I heard myself say. "I'm so happy for you. I know it's fast, but when you know, right?" And he said we don't have to get married right away. We can have a long engagement. But he wants to make it official. He wants everyone to know I'm his. I'm his. The possessiveness masked as romance. Have you set a date? Not yet. But Mom, there's something else. Marcus wants to open a joint bank account. For wedding savings and the apartment expenses. He said it'll be easier to track our finances if we combine them. That makes sense, right? No. God, no. Let me think about that, sweetheart. That's a big step. Maybe talk to a financial advisor first. Marcus has a financial advisor. Victoria. She's really smart. She's going to help us set everything up properly. Victoria Chen. She was already in play. Just humor me and wait a few days. I want to make sure you're protected. Maybe talk to a lawyer about a prenup. Mom. Emma's voice turned cold. This is exactly what I was afraid of. You can't just be happy for me. You have to find something wrong. I am happy for you. I just want to make sure that I don't make a mistake, that I don't trust the wrong person. I'm not stupid, Mom. I'm not a child. Marcus loves me. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I wish you'd support that instead of trying to sabotage it. I'm not sabotaging. I have to go. We're meeting with Victoria in an hour. She hung up. I stood there, phone in my hand, watching my daughter slip further into Derek Vaughn's trap. Linda grabbed her purse. We're going to that meeting. We're not invited. I don't care. We're going. We followed Emma's car to a coffee shop downtown. Through the window, I could see Derek and Emma sitting with an Asian woman in an expensive suit. Victoria Chen. She had a tablet out, pointing at numbers, explaining something that made Emma nod enthusiastically. Derek's hand was on Emma's knee, possessive, controlling. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I watched Victoria slide a document across the table. Emma picked up a pen. No. Iwis parat. No, no, no. I was through the door before Linda could stop me. Emma. All three of them looked up. Emma's face went from surprise to anger in a heartbeat. Mom, what are you doing here? Don't sign that. I was at the table now, breathless. Please just wait. Just give me one day to explain. Derek stood, his smile tight. Mrs. Matthews, this is a private meeting. Is it? I looked at Victoria. Or is this where you steal my daughter's identity and drain her accounts like you did to Jessica Thornton in Portland? The color drained from Victoria's face. Derek's expression didn't change, but his hand on Emma's shoulder tightened. Emma stood up. What are you talking about? His name isn't Marcus Webb. It's Derek Vaughn. He's a convicted felon. He's done this to at least 11 other women. And she, I pointed at Victoria, is his partner. They've been planning this since the day they met you. You're insane, Derek said calmly. But he was already reaching for his jacket. Am I? I pulled out my phone, showing Emma the police reports, the mugshot, the list of victims. Is this insane? Or is it the truth you didn't want to see? Emma stared at the screen, her face crumbling. No. No, this isn't. Emma, don't listen to her. Derek's voice was urgent now. She's making this up because she can't stand to see you happy. Then explain the glove box. I looked him dead in the eye. Explain the notebook with dates and calculations about how to manipulate my daughter. Explain the fake IDs. Explain the profiles of 8 other women. Explain the duffel bag in your trunk with everything you need to disappear the second she signs that paper. Victoria was already gone. She'd slipped out during my speech. Smart. But Derek stayed, and I saw the moment he decided to pivot. Okay, he said, hands up. Okay, you got me. But Emma, he turned to her, eyes pleading. What I feel for you is real. Everything else, yeah, that was before. But you changed me. I was going to come clean. I was going to tell you everything. Your mom just jumped the gun. Don't, I said. Don't you dare. But Emma was looking at him, wanting so desperately to believe. Is that true? Baby, I love you. I know I made mistakes, but people change. You made me want to be better. That's real. This, he gestured at me. This is just her trying to control you. I watched the war play out on Emma's face. Logic versus emotion. Truth versus hope. And then she picked up her phone and called the police. I want to report a fraud attempt, she said, voice breaking. And I have evidence. Derek ran. Actually bolted from the coffee shop. A barista tried to stop him, but he shoved past and was gone. Emma collapsed into her chair, the engagement ring sliding off her finger as her hands shook. Was any of it real? I wrapped my arms around her. No, baby. None of it. She sobbed into my shoulder, and I held her as the police arrived, as statements were taken, as the coffee shop cleared out around us. My daughter, broken again. But this time, she was broken by the truth, not by the lie. And somewhere, Derek Vaughn was already becoming someone else. The detective assigned to Emma's case was a woman named Sarah Chen. No relation to Victoria, she assured us when I flinched at the last name. She was in her 40s, sharp-eyed, with a no-nonsense demeanor that I found oddly comforting. Your daughter did the right thing calling us immediately, Detective Chen said. Sitting across from us in my living room the next morning. Emma was curled up on the couch, eyes red and swollen, still wearing yesterday's clothes. She hadn't slept. Neither had I. But I'll be honest with you both. Derek Vaughn is a ghost. He's done this before, and he's good at disappearing. What about Victoria Chen? I asked. She was there. She's his partner. We have a bolo out for her. But these people, they have multiple identities, multiple escape routes. By now, she could be in another state with a new name. So that's it. Emma's voice was hollow. He just gets away with it. Detective Chen leaned forward. Not if we're smart. Men like Derek, they can't help themselves. They'll target someone new. And when they do, we'll be waiting. But I need you both to help me understand his pattern. Every detail you remember, no matter how small, could be the thing that leads us to him. We spent 3 hours going through everything. The notebook. The fake IDs. The profiles of other women. The timeline of how he'd courted Emma. Detective Chen took notes, asked questions, and at one point said something that made my blood run cold. The proposal was the trigger. Once he gets that ring on the finger, the timeline accelerates. Usually within 2 weeks, he's gone with everything he can take. Your daughter calling the police probably saved her from financial ruin. But it also means he's going to move to his next target faster than usual. He'll be desperate. After Detective Chen left, Emma finally spoke. I keep thinking about all the things he said. How much he loved me. How I was different from everyone else. And it was all just lines. Things he'd said to 10 other women. 11, I said quietly. At least. She laughed, bitter. At least. God, Mom, I'm so stupid. You're not stupid. He's a professional. This is what he does for a living. But you saw it. You knew something was wrong. I got lucky. The glove box popped open at the right moment. If it hadn't, I couldn't finish that sentence. If it hadn't, Emma would be broke, her credit destroyed, possibly in debt for years. And I would have encouraged it every step of the way. I thought I was finally doing something right, Emma whispered. For once I thought I'd chosen well. I sat beside her, pulling her close. You did choose well. You chose to believe me. You chose to call the police. You chose truth over a comfortable lie. That took more strength than you know. She cried then, really cried, the kind of sobbing that shakes your whole body. I held her and let her break, because that's what she needed. To break down so she could start rebuilding. 2 days later, Linda brought news. She'd been in contact with the other victims, organizing them into a network. There are more than 11, she told me over coffee while Emma slept upstairs. We've found 16 women who'll go on record. And probably dozens more who won't. 16. Over the past 5 years. Different names, different looks, but the same MO. Some lost money, some lost time, all lost trust. There's a woman in Texas who says he was using the name Michael Wells. Another in Florida who knew him as David Martin. He's been all over the country. What about Victoria Chen? That's where it gets interesting. She's not just his partner. She's his handler. We found her digital footprint. She's been running this operation like a business. Multiple men working for her, each with their own targets. Derek is just one of her employees. I felt sick. This is organized crime. Exactly. Which means the FBI might get involved. Detective Chen is already making calls. The FBI. It should have made me feel better, but instead I felt overwhelmed. This was so much bigger than one con man and my daughter. This was a network of predators, and Emma had almost been devoured by it. That afternoon my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Mrs. Matthews? A woman's voice. Familiar. Who is this? Victoria Chen. Don't hang up. Please. My hand tightened on the phone. Why would I listen to anything you have to say? Because I can help you catch him. I was so surprised I almost dropped the phone. What? Derek's out of control. He wasn't supposed to propose yet. He wasn't supposed to escalate that fast. He's breaking protocol. And that makes him a liability. I want him gone as much as you do. So you can continue scamming other women? She laughed sharp. No. So I can get immunity. I've got enough evidence to put Derek away for 20 years. But I need protection. And I need a deal. Call the police. I'm calling you. Because I think you're smart enough to see the value in what I'm offering. You want Derek? I can give him to you. But I need something in return. I thought about Detective Chen, about the FBI, about the 16 women Linda had found. What do you want? Witness protection. Immunity from prosecution. And a clean slate. In exchange, I give you everything. Aliases, bank accounts, victim lists, the entire operation. I can dismantle this from the inside, but only if I'm protected. Why should I trust you? Because unlike Derek, I'm a businesswoman. This isn't personal for me. It's just numbers. And right now, the numbers say my best move is to cut my losses and disappear legally instead of spending the next decade looking over my shoulder. I was silent, my mind racing. I need to talk to the police. You have 24 hours. After that, I'm gone, and so is your best chance to catch him. Derek's already setting up his next target. Girl named Sophia. Works at a bookstore downtown. He met her yesterday. By the end of the week, he'll have her believing he's her soulmate. By the end of the month, she'll be broke. You want to stop that? Call me back. She hung up before I could respond. I immediately called Detective Chen and told her everything. She swore under her breath. Victoria Chen reached out to you directly? That's actually good. Very good. It means she's scared. It means Derek really is off the rails. Can you make a deal with her? Not my call. But I can escalate this to someone who can. Give me an hour. That hour turned into 3, but when Detective Chen called back, she had news. The FBI wants to talk to Victoria. If she's legitimate, if she really can deliver what she's promising, they'll work out immunity. But Mrs. Matthews, we need you to be the contact point. She reached out to you. She trusts you. Or at least trusts that you want Derek stopped. Will you help us? Will you help us? As if there was any question. Yes. What do I do? Set up a meeting. Public place. We'll have agents nearby. If she brings evidence, we move forward. If she doesn't, well, at least we tried. I called Victoria back. She answered on the first ring. Smart decision. I want to meet. Tomorrow. Coffee shop on Main Street. Noon. Too public. Derek might have someone watching you. Somewhere quieter. How about the park by the river? Near the bridge. 2 o'clock. Come alone. I'm bringing the police. Then I'm bringing nothing. You want this to work, Mrs. Matthews. You need to trust that I want out more than I want to scam you. 2 o'clock. Alone. Or this doesn't happen. I agreed, even though every instinct screamed at me not to. Detective Chen wasn't happy when I told her, but she organized a surveillance team to watch from a distance. She won't see them. But if anything goes wrong, they're close. The next day, I walked to the park alone, my heart hammering. It was a cold afternoon, the kind where your breath mists in front of you. Victoria was already there, sitting on a bench near the bridge, a leather bag at her feet. She looked different from the polished woman I'd seen at the coffee shop. No makeup, hair in a ponytail, wearing jeans and a jacket. She looked tired. You came, she said as I approached. I want to stop him. That's the only reason I'm here. She nodded, then reached into the bag and pulled out a tablet. This is everything. 11 aliases for Derek. 15 for me. Bank accounts, transfer records, profiles of 43 targets over the last 5 years. Some he got, some he didn't. And here she scrolled, showing me files. Recordings. He doesn't know I kept them. Conversations where he brags about the con's plans for future targets. Including your daughter. I stared at the screen, watching a video of Derek. No Marcus, no Michael. Laughing about some woman who'd actually believed the investment opportunity story. He was drinking, relaxed, talking to Victoria like they were discussing the weather. Why? I asked. Why do this at all? Victoria looked at me, and for a moment, I saw something human in her eyes. Because I grew up with nothing. Foster care just like him. And I learned early that people with money don't care about people without it. So I took from them. Simple as that. But Derek, he enjoys it. The manipulation. The heartbreak. I just wanted money. He wants power. And now I want out. I'm 36. I've got enough saved to disappear. But not if I'm constantly running from him. He's unraveling, Mrs. Matthews. He's going to make a mistake, and when he does, he'll drag me down with him. Unless I get out first. Show me Sophia's file. She pulled it up. Photos of a young woman mid-20s, with dark curly hair and a shy smile. Notes about her routine, her interests, her weaknesses. Recovering from a bad breakup. Lonely. Works at Riverview Books. Likes poetry. Trusts too easily. When's he planning to approach her? He already did. Yesterday. Staged a meet-cute at the bookstore. Asked for a poetry recommendation. They're getting coffee tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Less than 24 hours. Can you stop him? No. But you can. Here's his current address. The place he's been staying since he ran. And here's his phone number, the new one he's using. Give this to your detective. Let them do their job. But if you want to catch him in the act, if you want to make sure he can't wriggle out on a technicality, you set a trap. What kind of trap? Victoria smiled, and it was the first genuine smile I'd seen from her. You give him something he can't resist. Someone he already invested 7 months in. Someone he thinks he can still manipulate. Emma. He's narcissistic enough to believe he can win her back. If she reaches out, if she apologizes, if she says she understands now that her mother was wrong, he'll meet her. And when he does, you'll have him. I wanted to say no. I wanted to protect Emma from any more contact with that monster. But Victoria was right. If we wanted Derek caught, convicted, unable to hurt anyone else, we needed him on record admitting what he'd done. I need to talk to Emma. You have until tomorrow night. That's when he's meeting Sophia. If you're going to do this, it has to be before then. Once he's got a new target locked in, your daughter won't be leverage anymore. I took the tablet, the files, everything Victoria handed me. If this is a trick. It's not. Check the files. Verify them. You'll see I'm telling the truth. And Mrs. Matthews? Tell your daughter I'm sorry. Not all of us are monsters. Some of us are just trying to survive. I didn't know if I believed her, but I took the evidence back to Detective Chen, who verified it with her team. Everything Victoria had given us was real. Bank records, recordings, profiles. It was a prosecutor's dream. That night, I sat Emma down and told her the plan. She listened, her face pale, and when I finished she said, "He'll know it's a trap." Maybe. But he's desperate. And desperate people make mistakes. What if he hurts me? You'll be wired. Undercover officers will be close. The second he admits to anything, they move in. You'll be safe. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I want to do it. Not just to catch him, but to show him that I'm not as weak as he thought. That I'm not another victim in his notebook. You're not weak, Emma. Then let me prove it. The next evening, Emma sent Derek a text from a new number Victoria had provided. It's me. I'm sorry about everything. Can we talk? I miss you. 30 seconds later, he replied. Emma? Is that really you? Yes. Please. I need to see you. Your mom's not. She's not involved. I told her I was done with her. She tried to ruin us. But I know the truth now. Can we meet? There was a pause. Then where? The same coffee shop. Where you proposed. 8 p.m. I'll be there. And just like that, the trap was set. At 7:45 p.m., Emma walked into that coffee shop wired, with 6 undercover officers scattered throughout the room. I watched from a van parked across the street, Detective Chen beside me, listening to the audio feed. You okay? I asked Emma through the earpiece hidden in her necklace. No. But I'm doing it anyway. Derek walked in at exactly 8. He'd changed his appearance. Shorter hair, no beard, glasses. But Emma recognized him instantly. He smiled when he saw her. That same warm smile that had fooled us all. Emma. God, I've missed you. She stood, and I watched her embrace him. Watched him hold her like he actually cared. My stomach turned. I'm sorry, Emma said, pulling back. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. It's okay. Your mom got in your head. I understand. They sat down, ordered coffee, and Derek launched into his routine. Apologies mixed with manipulation. Explanations that sounded plausible if you didn't know the truth. And Emma played along beautifully, asking questions that led him exactly where we needed him to go. So the other women, the ones in those police reports, that was all just a misunderstanding. Exaggerated, Derek said smoothly. People looking for someone to blame when their relationships failed. I made mistakes, sure. But I never scammed anyone. I loved them. Just like I love you. But the notebook in your car. The one with all those notes about me. He laughed. That? Baby, I I was just being romantic. Writing down all the things you liked so I could surprise you. That's not weird. That's thoughtful. And the fake IDs? His smile dimmed slightly. Where is this going, Emma? I just need to understand. Because if we're going to be together, I need to know you were honest with me about everything. He leaned forward, taking her hand. I was honest. The person your mom saw in that car. That's not who I am anymore. That's who I had to be to survive. But with you, I'm real. This is real. Prove it. How? Tell me the truth. About Victoria. About the money. About why you proposed so fast. His expression hardened. I don't like what you're implying. I'm not implying anything. I'm asking you directly. Were you planning to steal from me? The room went silent. Derek stared at Emma, his smile completely gone now. And then he said the words that sealed his fate. If you already think you know the answer, why are you asking? Because I need to hear you say it. He pulled his hand back. You're wired, aren't you? Emma didn't answer. She didn't need to. Her face said everything. Derek stood up, chair scraping. You stupid girl. You think you can trap me? After everything That's when the officers moved in. 6 of them, surrounding him, badges out. Derek Vaughn, you're under arrest for fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. He tried to run. Shoved one officer, knocked over a table. But there were too many of them. Within seconds he was on the ground, cuffed, screaming about his rights. I ran into the coffee shop just as they lifted him to his feet. Emma was shaking, crying, but she was standing. She'd done it. Derek saw me and his face twisted with rage. This is your fault. You poisoned her against me. We could have been happy. No, I said quietly. You could have moved on to your next victim. That's what would have happened. They let him out, still shouting. Victoria Chen was arrested simultaneously at the address she'd given us. True to her word, she cooperated fully, and within a week, 3 other men working in her network were also in custody. Emma testified at the trial 4 months later. So did Jessica from Portland, and 5 other women who found the courage to face him. Derek Vaughn was convicted on 14 counts and sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. But that night, standing in the coffee shop watching him being taken away, I wasn't thinking about justice or sentences. I was thinking about how close we'd come to losing everything. How one glove box popping open had changed everything. Emma leaned against me, exhausted. Is it really over? It's really over. Mom. Yeah. Thank you. For not giving up on me. I held my daughter close and whispered, never. Not ever. The weeks after Derek's arrest were the hardest. Not because of the legal proceedings. Detective Chen and the FBI handled most of that. But because Emma had to rebuild herself from the inside out. The first few nights she couldn't sleep. She'd wake up gasping, convinced she heard his voice, felt his hands on her shoulders. I'd find her at 3 in the morning sitting at the kitchen table, scrolling through old text messages, trying to figure out which parts had been real and which had been performance. None of it. I told her one night, sitting beside her. None of it was real. But it felt real. The way he looked at me. The way he laughed at my jokes. How he remembered my coffee order. She wiped her eyes. How do I trust anyone again if I couldn't see through that? I didn't have an answer. Not then. So I just held her hand and let her cry. The therapist Emma started seeing, Dr. Reeves, a woman who specialized in trauma from romantic fraud, said something during our first family session that stuck with me. Con artists don't succeed because their victims are stupid or naive. They succeed because they're professionals who exploit the best parts of human nature. Trust, hope, and the desire to be loved. Your daughter didn't fail. He did. But Emma struggled to believe it. She'd quit her job at the library because Derek had met her there once, and she couldn't stand the memory. She avoided the coffee shop, the park, anywhere they'd been together. She deleted all her social media because she kept seeing couples and wondering if they were real, or if the women were being conned too. I feel like I'm going crazy, she told me one afternoon. I look at every man now and think, is he lying? Is he calculating? Is this all an act? I can't even talk to the guy at the grocery store without analyzing every word. That's normal. I said, though my heart broke for her. You're healing. It takes time. How much time? Because I'm exhausted, Mom. I'm so tired of being suspicious and scared. I wished I could tell her it would be weeks or months or some specific timeline. But I knew better. Healing isn't linear. Some days Emma seemed okay, laughing at dinner, making plans for the future. Other days she couldn't get out of bed. Linda organized a support group for us. Other women who'd been targeted by romance scammers. Not just Derek's victims, but survivors from all kinds of cons. The first meeting, Emma didn't want to go. I don't want to sit in a circle and cry with strangers. Then don't cry. Just listen. These women understand what you're going through in a way I never can. She went reluctantly, and she came home 3 hours later looking lighter somehow. Not happy, not yet, but less alone. There was a woman there, Emma said, curling up on the couch. Sarah. She's 52. Lost her husband to cancer 3 years ago and met someone online. He scammed her out of her entire retirement fund. $140,000. And she said she's only now, 2 years later, starting to feel like herself again. 2 years, I repeated softly. But she also said she went on a date last month. A real one. And it was terrifying, but she did it. She's rebuilding. Slowly. But she's doing it. That was the first time I saw hope in Emma's eyes since the arrest. Over the next few months, Emma became close with several women from the group. Jessica from Portland flew in to testify at Derek's trial. And she and Emma spent hours talking, comparing notes, realizing how identical his methods had been. Michelle from California video called Emma twice a week. They'd even joke sometimes, dark humor about the red flags we should have seen, and the world's worst boyfriend club. It helped Emma to help others. When a new woman joined the group, fresh from discovering her boyfriend was a scam artist, Emma was the first to reach out. I know you don't believe it now, she'd say, but you will get through this. You will. I watched my daughter transform from victim to survivor to advocate. And I was so damn proud. The trial was surreal. Derek sat at the defense table in an orange jumpsuit, clean-shaven, looking nothing like the charming man who'd eaten at my table. His lawyer tried to paint him as a troubled soul who'd made mistakes, but the prosecutor, a fierce woman named Gina Torres, dismantled that narrative piece by piece. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she said during closing arguments, this man is not troubled. He's calculating. He's not a victim of circumstance. He's a predator. And these women, she gestured to Emma and the other survivors in the gallery. These brave women are here to make sure he never hurts anyone again. When the guilty verdict came back on all 14 counts, Emma exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for months. Derek didn't react. He just stared straight ahead, emotionless, like the mask had finally come off for good. 25 years. That's what the judge gave him. With credit for time served and good behavior, he'd probably serve 20. But 20 years meant Emma would be 45 when he got out. It meant she had time to build a whole new life before ever having to worry about him again. Victoria Chen, true to her deal, got immunity in exchange for her testimony. Last I heard, she'd entered witness protection and was somewhere on the West Coast, supposedly living a quiet life. I didn't know if I believed she'd really changed. But I believed she'd wanted out, and sometimes that's the first step. 6 months after the trial, Emma got a new job. Not at a library. She wasn't ready for that. But at a nonprofit that helped victims of financial fraud navigate the legal system. She was good at it, using her own experience to connect with people in their darkest moments. I met a woman today, Emma told me over dinner one night. Her fiancé cleaned out her bank account and disappeared. She kept saying, "How could I be so stupid?" And I told her what Dr. Reeves told me. You're not stupid. He's just a professional liar. I don't know if she believed me, but I saw something shift in her face. Like maybe she could forgive herself. That's what you're doing too, I said. Forgiving yourself. Yeah. She smiled, small but real. I think I am. We didn't talk about Derek much anymore. Not because it was taboo, but because he didn't deserve the space in our lives. Occasionally something would trigger a memory. A cologne scent, a restaurant we'd been to with him. And Emma would go quiet for a bit. But she always came back, One afternoon, almost a year after the arrest, Emma asked me something I'd been waiting for. Mom, why did you keep pushing? When I defended him, when I got mad at you, why didn't you just let it go? I thought about it, about that moment in the car when the glove box popped open, about every choice I'd made after. Because I'm your mother. And mothers don't let go. Not when it matters. She nodded, eyes glistening. I was so mean to you. You were protecting your heart. I don't blame you for that. But you were right. You saw what I couldn't. I got lucky. If that glove box hadn't opened. I shook my head. I don't want to think about what would have happened. But it did. And you acted. You didn't just ignore it or hope for the best. You fought for me even when I didn't want you to. She reached across the table, taking my hand. I don't think I ever thanked you properly. So thank you, Mom. For being stubborn and nosy and overprotective. Thank you for saving me. I squeezed her hand, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. That summer, Emma started dating again. Not seriously, just casual coffee dates, testing the waters. She told me about each one, analyzing the conversations, looking for red flags. Some dates went well. Others didn't. But she was trying, and that was what mattered. I met someone, she said one evening, 6 months into her cautious re-entry into the dating world. His name's Ben. He's a teacher. We've been on 3 dates. My protective instincts flared immediately. And I ran a background check on him. I blinked. You did. She laughed at my expression. I'm not taking chances anymore. He's clean. No criminal record, no angry exes warning people on Facebook, no suspicious financial activity. He's just normal. How does that feel? Terrifying. She grinned. But also good? He doesn't love bomb me. He doesn't rush things. He actually has flaws. He's terrible at texting back and he's addicted to bad reality TV. And somehow that makes me trust him more than someone who seems perfect. I met Ben a month later. He was indeed normal. A little awkward, genuinely nice, and clearly nervous about meeting Emma's mother after everything we'd been through. Over dinner, he said something that made me like him. Emma told me about what happened with her ex. And I just want you to know, Mrs. Matthews, I understand why you're protective. If my daughter went through that, I'd probably have the FBI on speed dial for every guy she dated. You have a daughter? Not yet. But someday. And when I do, I hope she has someone like you in her corner. Emma smiled at him, genuine and unguarded, and I thought, maybe this is what healing looks like. Not forgetting the past, but being brave enough to try again anyway. 2 years after Derek's arrest, Emma and I were invited to speak at a conference about financial fraud and romantic scams. The audience was mostly law enforcement, banking professionals, and victim advocates. I was nervous, but Emma insisted we do it. Our story can help people, she said. Both potential victims and the families trying to protect them. We stood on that stage together, and Emma told our story. She was honest about the shame, the self-blame, the difficulty of recovery. And I talked about the moment in the car, the glove box, the decision to investigate instead of ignore. Afterward, dozens of people came up to us. Some were other victims. Some were family members who'd watched loved ones fall for scams and didn't know how to help. And some were just people who said, I had a feeling about someone once, and I ignored it. Never again. One woman, probably in her 60s, gripped my hand with tears in her eyes. My daughter's dating someone who gives me a bad feeling. I keep telling myself I'm being paranoid. But after hearing your story, I'm going to trust my instincts. Thank you. Trust them, I told her. Even if you're wrong, it's better than regretting silence. That night, Emma and I sat in our hotel room, exhausted but satisfied. You know what's weird? She said. I never thought I'd be grateful for what happened. But I am in a way. It taught me things I needed to know. About trust, about boundaries, about how strong I really am. You're incredibly strong. So are you, Mom. She leaned against my shoulder. We both are. And she was right. We were. Today, Emma's doing well. She's been with Ben for over a year now. And it's a healthy relationship built on honesty and respect. She still goes to therapy, still attends the support group, still helps new victims navigate the aftermath of being conned. She's even writing a book about her experience, hoping it might save someone else from going through the same thing. As for me, I learned that sometimes love means being the villain in your child's story until the truth comes out. It means trusting your gut, even when everyone calls you paranoid. It means fighting for the people you love, even when they don't want to be saved. I still think about that moment in the car sometimes. The glove box popping open, everything tumbling out. One random pothole changing the entire trajectory of our lives. If I'd hit that bump 5 seconds earlier or later, if the latch had held, if I'd been too distracted to look, Derek would have succeeded. Emma would have lost everything. But I did look. And I acted. And I saved my daughter. Not because I'm special or particularly brave, but because I'm a mother. And that's what mothers do. If you're watching this and you've ever had that gut feeling about someone in your life, or someone in your loved one's life, don't ignore it. Investigate. Ask questions. Be the overprotective one if that's what it takes. Because the alternative is watching someone you love get destroyed by a predator who saw them coming. And if you're a survivor of a romantic scam or any kind of manipulation, please know this. It wasn't your fault. You didn't fail. You were targeted by someone who made a career out of deception. But you survived. And survival is the first step toward healing. To everyone who made it through this story with us, thank you. If it resonated with you, if it made you think twice about someone who seems too perfect, if it gave you the courage to trust your instincts, hit that like button. Drop a comment below sharing your own experiences, or what this story meant to you. We all learn from each other's stories. And subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories about survival, resilience, and the courage it takes to protect the ones we love. Because these stories matter. Your story matters. Emma and I are proof that you can survive even the most calculated betrayal. That you can rebuild trust, both in others and in yourself. That the glove box can pop open at just the right moment, revealing the truth you needed to see. Stay safe out there. Trust your instincts. And never underestimate a mother's love. This is Diana Matthews signing off. Thank you for listening to our story.